Yo. Okay, let's begin. Let me hide. Gallons.png. Okay. Okay, for today I was thinking on doing something more specific rather than working on various cards. I wanted to try this. Now, probably everybody watching has no idea what this is, but it was a bug with plenty of cards, but there was a runic card that was very apparent with it. Don't remember if I have a puzzle for it though. I'm not seeing anything, so probably not. I just make it. It's fine. It's not that complicated. Okay. It's the one that doesn't trigger. It's the one that activates when the opponent adds something to the hand or something. This one, your opponent adds a card from the dead hand. Okay. So if I recall, correctly, we need to add this to our hand in chainlink 1 and then chainlink 2 the opponent to search something like that during our turn, of course. So we put this in the deck and then we want tip to search it. Yes. And then we want the opponent to use a quick effect that searches. So summon creates circle. It's a quick play. Okay, and then we need the opponent to have a bunch of cards in their deck. So that we can banish and stuff, so... Oh, like, I keep putting in my own deck. Hold on. It's fine. I'll just edit the file. Okay. So we need the chainlink 1 and this to search. Okay. Okay, we can use it. Was this not the issue? Or was this randomly fixed? Trying to think. I think the issue was that the conditions fulfilled, but the card is not in the hand yet. So that's where it failed. Let me see if I can track down the exact message. Okay, it was slightly different. Let me see. Can't be activated if the card that the opponent added to their hand is no longer in their hand. Meanwhile, trigger effects like Dark Law can be activated just fine. Okay, so he needs to leave the hand immediately. I was remembering completely wrong. That's fine. Okay, so we need to change. So I guess we're gonna use something that does a search and then immediately discard. For example, like Fujin Yamato or something. Yeah. Okay, so we need to change the puzzle. Once the card from to the hands. Actually, let's try this one because it's a little simpler because the runic stuff uses the tone function, so it's a little annoying. The opponent adds something. We add a card, any card, okay. It's going your end phase. There's the Shadow one as well, right? We need to send to the graveyard. no, we don't need the point to all. Yeah, never mind. We just need them to have something. Like I'll give it automatic punishment, I guess. So they can send the Apollo into the graveyard. Give me a little monster. Okay, here it should have prompted, but it doesn't. But it's not about the prompt, it's like it cannot be activated at all. But a Dark Law would activate normally. Although, no, Dark Law needs them to have something in their hand too, but that's beside the point. So what's the reason this happens? Is it because of the previous location check? Like if it checks again when it hits the grave, then the previous location is the hand on the deck. That would be a reason, potentially. Yep. But the question is, why does it check at the end only? It's kind of weird. I mean, that seems like a core thing, to be honest. Because if we go back to the puzzle, and let's add something to the opponent's hand. And then we had a Dark Law on our side. Of course. Thanks, Dark Law. Jeez. You are very helpful. Okay, this triggers, it doesn't. But the actual check here should be the same, right? Previous location deck. It's control T. And the player is past. Yeah, it's exactly the same. Well, this also checks the reason. Draw, it's pass, whatever. So see that how Dark Laws was printed the moment it went to the hand, whereas Sales Pitch gets printed after it hits the graveyard, or rather, it doesn't get. Oh, it printed even after the whole chain finished. What the fuck? Like, say I use this, now it print. What the fuck? That's so weird. Okay, I guess it's because this is a public trigger, this is not. It's a priority level 2, whatever. So it needs to be checked after public triggers. But the problem is that it should be... the condition should be checked the moment the event happens, not when you would activate. And then when you would activate, you should check the target that you have something to search, right? I think so, at least. Like, if we go back to dark glow. Dark condition, dark target. And then after you choose whether you're gonna activate this stuff, is when sales place condition goes off. Which doesn't make much sense. Now if we get rid of the delay flag, I think it's gonna work, but like, I think that's the culprit. But at the same time, this is add then discard, so the timing is also gonna mess it up. So we also need to remove the time break. No, it still doesn't work. It still doesn't work. No, so I guess it's not the delay flag. Or maybe it's multiple things. Okay, it's okay. It's because it's the card activation with a specific event. Maybe that's the problem. So in general, so it's not a delay thing. I guess that's good though. But what to do about it? To be honest, I thought it was the other thing with the delayed search. So I had an idea for that. And now it's like, wait, it's not what I thought it was. But let me maybe have some old notes somewhere. Hold on. Okay, let me try my idea with, it's like to use a global effect instead. Just to see if it works. I use a global effect and then a custom. What's the code that uses custom events? Though I want not a single effect. I want the field one. Raise event. Okay, so we got EG. Let me note it down actually. EG code. Oops. So those are the parameters it takes. This one. Edo, why is the order different here? It makes no sense. Are you still watching? Like the default order for the parameters is this, right? But then the order you put them in raise event is flipped. You put the reasons first and then the event stuff. It's kind of random. Raise custom happened already, which is nice. But then the condition, of course, would say wrong in this case. But the idea is that we're gonna check the condition in here, perhaps, and that will make it work. Now, how are we gonna transfer this to the global effect here? The issue is that with global effects, there's no there's no triggering player, so that we can't reference the opposite triggering player, something like that. So The thing is, at the same time, I want to try and do it without changing this condition if possible, so... But I don't know if that's possible. But if we remove the condition completely though. Okay, and... Your opponent's a card from the to their hand, except drawing. I don't think we can raise it for a specific player only. No. So it's a little tricky here. Like, okay, G, we could filter. For this basically. Just without the player checks. Okay, what if we make it a single event then? Because then we know it's going to be guaranteed to be for the specific card. Right. But then how do we check the player? How do we check the card, in fact? I mean, okay. The effect, the global effect belongs to this card, so that should work. Hold on, let me just try and make the generic version first. So something like... maybe single doesn't work with... Wait, it should be in here, just to be sure. Yeah. So maybe, so it's not, because it's type activates, maybe it doesn't work with single events. But it works... Does it work with does work. So that's a good start, but then we need to figure out how to actually check the condition properly in here. This is tough, because I don't think there's a way to raise the event only for a specific player. You raise the event in general, and then you check for specific players and the conditions of the effect. So if we do this, for example, we put better condition, but we only check for the reason player here, and then we pass the reason player. No, actually, it's not just the reason player. We also need to check the controller, right? We also need to check the controller. The count control needs to be the quote-unquote opponent. How many differences are there between scripts of EDOPro and Omega? Is it too different? I can't tell you exactly because I haven't seen, I don't look at their scripts like specifically, but I think they're using the scripts from the Chinese team. Which would mean that there are some differences between ours and theirs. It's not a completely different thing, but it's different enough to where if you copy one, if you try to use one on the other platform, it's not going to work probably. Or at least in a lot of cases, it's not going to work. But if I see one, I'm going to understand what it does without much issue. I'm not sure exactly what you're asking, but there you go. So we're checking we're using the reason player, so the player that actually added the card, that caused the cards to be added. Okay, filter. In their hand, it was in the deck before. no draw, raise it with that reason as the reason player. And then the condition here we want to check the reason player is the opponent of the current player that's going to try and use sales pitch. I mean, it works on a basic level. Problem is that we need to alter the condition for it, because let's see if we do this right. If we just remove the condition altogether, it's gonna work, of course. But if the opponent also has one, we need to make that not work in that particular case. We don't have anything in the deck. See, without the condition, without checking the reason player properly there, the opponent can use it off of their own search, which obviously is not correct. Now, the problem is that I was trying to make, I was thinking of like making this a more global solution rather than the script by script basis. But in order to do that properly, we can't fiddle too much with the pre-existing. I just got an idea. Let's see. Okay, so if we execute the pre-existing condition function here, with both with 0 and 1 as the player, we can see for which player the event is met correctly and for which player it's not met correctly. And then we could set like a table or something, like some kind of check value to true, which would mean that, that for that particular player the event was met. Let's see, so in the global effect, when the event is met, we check the original condition function for both players. Let's see if it comes up true in that specific moment, because it's a timing issue. We need to check it in that moment, not later. And then we mark it in this table, which I forgot to declare. And then we mark it in this table whether it's true for which player. Now if it's true for any player, we raise the event. Then the new condition function for the initial effect is going to check that it was true for the player that's trying to activate it right now. So this should not be local, I suppose. So it seems to work correctly. Now we need to figure out. I need to figure out if we need to reset these to false somehow or not. Well, this only activates the specific custom event is raised, and that's gonna happen only here. So every time right before it happens, they're gonna be changed to true or false accordingly. So I don't think we need the reset, so to speak, is happening here, I think. So it should be fine. So so we don't need these. Oops. Let me actually remove the comments too. Now the next task is to try and integrate it somehow so it happens, you know, automatically in the background without us having to edit script by script. For that, I do have an idea. Yeah, I'm gonna try to incorporate it in the register effect. So first I need to open the utility. I don't think we need dark glow anymore. So the idea is to transfer this stuff in here somehow. Okay, so what do we need? We need this global effect, we need this function. We only need this stuff actually. And then we also need to change the effects condition. Now, another thing we need to do is to detect the cases where we need to do this. And I'm thinking the cases are type activate, that has like specific event. For now, I'll just hard code it to event to hand. So it's for the specific card and similar cards, and then we'll figure out the details. maybe later or off stream. So reg e, that's the function. E is the effect itself. Yeah, okay, so I need to check E. If we get type is this, and E get code is this, then do things. Okay, let me copy this over. Okay, so the script is back to its original form, pretty much. And then here, if we detect the specific circumstances, we need to change the code. Now, we don't have access to the ID. But let's just use, we have the card. Let's just use original code for now. And then the condition. Now if I declare it here, it probably should be fine. How do I do this? If I declare everything in here, including the check OP function and the global check, it's probably gonna be okay, I think. Let's see. And then we also need S, unless we just don't use it. Actually, we don't have to use it, right? Could just make a global effect. Global effect doesn't belong, although actually we could just, okay, wait, the double check thing is so that only happens one time. Okay, we'll forget it. We'll figure that out later, it's not important. This is what I'm not sure if it's gonna work. Like if I declare this function here, is it gonna work? I'm not sure. Declared as local, okay. let's see. Oh, something didn't work. Let's debug first. The good old right stuff, debug. Wait, they all said test 1, never test 2 for some reason. But why though? Oh, is the type not exactly that or something? Like, does the core add another thing to the type? Yeah, apparently it's a little different. Anybody know? I'm guessing the core adds something else to the type for whatever reason, because core activation or whatever. Go with bitwise, makes sense. I'll do it for the code too, I guess. Okay, test 2 is printed now. Okay. Oh, I left the ID somewhere, probably. Remove these. 81. Wait. Before deleting. Oh, this I forgot to. Okay. Forgot to do this as well. Here. Okay. Nice. And this one doesn't work. And if I do activate it, it should be usable afterwards. Okay, this is the global thing probably. It's happening like a million times. Okay, so it seems to work. I just need to figure the details. I just got here, so I don't know what you're doing anyway. So there's this bug. Were you watching earlier when I was explaining this bug? Okay, let me try and do the global thing then. Double check. Nope. Okay, so there's this bug. It's an old one, I think. Where if due to when the condition is checked here, so the condition here checks that it was the opponent and that there's something in EG that's on the opponent's side and it was in the deck beforehand. right? Event hunt. You want to cut the dog, blah blah. Now the problem is if the card that's added, because for some reason with let's just okay, for some reason when it's a card activation, it checks the condition afterwards, after the effect has already finished resolving. At which point, if the card that was added to the hand has moved from the hand, the previous location check is gonna come up wrong. So, for example, here I cannot use it because when it does check this, it's already in the graveyard, so the previous location is the hand, so it comes up false, so you cannot use it. This only happens seemingly with card activations, not trigger effects, because I tried with, if you try with Dark Law, for example, your opponent's a cuff and there's a hand. This can trigger, this cannot trigger. So here this can trigger, but this cannot trigger. Okay? So that's essentially the bug. What I did was figure out a thing with this global effect. I did it here first to use a global effect that tracks event to hand and made this custom event so that the actual check itself, which is going to happen through the global effect, and it's going to raise the custom event, which then will make this triggerable because it has the custom event. And it worked. And then what I want to do is, okay, I don't want to go edit the script of every card that needs this fix. So I'm like, okay, let's try and put this in the utility inside the register effect function, like hardcoded here to like add this handling to every card that needs it. Now at the moment it's kind of generic in the sense that it does it for these, but we'll figure out those details later, I think. So that's the idea. And now this seemed to work. I can use it here. Now this is the next thing I want to tackle. I'm guessing it's because I just have this without the global check. That's probably the reason. Or maybe that has to do with how the puzzle works, because it adds the cards to the hand. Maybe, we'll see. Anyway, but if I do use it, it works fine. Let's try doing the global check and see if it changes anything. However, for this we need this the card object. So can we do C here? Does that work? I think it's C, right? I think this should work. Let's see. Errors are okay. Okay, wait, we don't need the card object, we want the table, right? Yeah, how do we get the table? How do we get the card table from the object? It's like get meta table or something. Get meta table. Let's try that. it so much that the puzzle doesn't even load. Oh wait, yeah, I forgot to. Okay. Okay, no errors now. That's progress. But it didn't work now. Why did it not work? Is this executed? Let's see. It is. So what's the problem? What's the problem, officer? I mean, no, B0 is true, as expected. Because I'm player 0. So then this condition here should be true. Okay, let's put a debug here to see if the condition is, if the event is raised correctly. The event is raised correctly. So I don't know, is this false or something? Zero false, one false. But why though? I'm just what? Check. That's weird, because these two say true false correctly, but then down here check says false for both. Now it works when it's not a local table. It's a little annoying. Why did it not work as a local? I'm not sure. But maybe we need to do everything in here then. But if we do that, then... Hold on. When is this? When is this executed actually? Like right at the start, I guess. Okay. So if we add the changes, all of them in here, that would maybe make sense. Where does E start? E is the effect that is passed to register effect in here. So it's this one essentially. No, it just says false everywhere. 0 false, 1 false. I'm not sure if the order plays any part in this, to be honest. I guess maybe it does. Because this says true false now. But then this didn't print at all. Let me change this back to local because the idea is to have it as a local. Okay, so these print correctly, which means this is executed, but then this does not. So, so maybe we need to put. If we move these outside though, then local check doesn't work. Now we could make the table. Maybe it's fine to just make the table global and just name it after the, like put it in the cards meta table or something, so it's unique that way. So for example, take this out again, put this here. So now it's probably not gonna work because it says local. Yeah, they're both false. I mean, E does have check in the scope. Can you check how many times the assignment of check 0 won't happen? Yeah, we see that because it already debugs here. It happens once for the event. Like this function is executed only once, and it's these two. And it's true for player 0, false for player 1. Are you an EDOPro developer? I suppose you could say that, yes. I mainly work with card scripts, but yes. So if we add it here and then whenever we reference it, yeah, it seems to work. So how's the prompt? Okay, there's no... Okay, that's my bit. Okay. That's cool, man. I appreciate the work you do. No problem. No problemo. Okay, so this seems to maybe work. We change to this. Putting in the cards meta table should make it unique in that way. Let's see if I maybe add more copies of this, for example. We add more copies, remove the count of the ones per turn. And then I just need some stuff in my deck as well. 2 is enough. So I can use both correctly. Cannot use this one because it's the opponent's. But now she can use it because I just added something. I mean, it seems fine. Now we just need to figure out the specific checks to do here. Because right now it's only doing it for card activations that have event to hunt. But obviously there's gonna be other cases as well, I think. Not obviously, but I think there's gonna be other cases too. And then maybe perhaps, you know, some scenarios we couldn't I didn't think about. But I searched for the card with cuts. Yeah, it's called side speech, sorry. The image is outdated, I guess. I don't think there's any scenario that I didn't consider or something. Oh yeah, this needs to be this. So it's like generic. We need to account for no condition. Although if there's no condition, it's not gonna be failing, I guess. Probably. I'm just gonna ignore it for now. This bug reminds me of something with Dairy Crane, a pretty old bug too, but it's somewhere in this. Yes, Dairy Crane one is the controller thing. Yes, it's somewhat similar, I would say. Although with Dairy Crane, I think the most sane approach is to just have the ability to store and get the information of which players field it was summoned in, rather than having to check the current controller, because if the card changes controller or moves or whatever, that messes things up. And I had some ideas on how to do that, but I don't think I ever tried them. But anyway, here we could. When the player split, we need to do it so that if the original condition checks for player stuff, it's checked correctly, because there's no triggering player in the global effect. Though this should be this, so oops. Okay. Let me try keeping the card in the hand. Okay, as expected, just to make sure it didn't break or anything. Yo, /burn X. What's up? I can't think of anything else here. We'll have Ed look at it as well. See if he thinks of something. But let's see. Let's try. If I do the same thing but with the runic card now, it should work. Maybe. Although with the runic card, there's a trick thing here. There's a trick is has the multiple effects. So maybe that needs extra work. But let me see. Which one was it? Dispelling. Yeah. Something's off here. Now this has to do with how the runic functions operate probably. I don't know if I want to do a deep dive on that now, but let me see if we can take a look. Should be in card specific. Here I had too many puzzles to test. Yeah, it's mainly just because I don't delete them. I should just go and delete them, to be honest. Okay, so what does this do? With TGCon. Okay. So it just says a condition here. This doesn't actually register the effects, it just returns them. Yes, thought is correct, by the way, yes. This just returns them, doesn't register them, right? Yes, it doesn't. So the question is, why doesn't it? Why does it not work? Code should be event to hunt. Condition. Okay, so it goes in there for this and for this. 66, 29. Okay, so it does go in here. Let me actually remove sales pitch so we don't get annoying debugs from that interfering. Damn, it's everywhere. Okay. Oh wait. Oh, it was the banish. Damn it. Yeah, it was the banish. There was not enough cards in the deck. That was the problem. Okay. Okay, there we go. There was only one card in the deck. I had another one here and it worked. Okay. And then if I have something, let's see. If I put this in the extra deck. So this is only for the summon, right? I'm forced to summon, okay. Makes sense. But if I wait and do it after the search, I should be able to do either one. Okay. Looking good. Today, yeah, okay. So without doing anything in dispelling script or this, it works. From the same stuff we did for sales pitch. Okay, that's nice. Now we just need to figure out the other events probably. And I'm not sure what to do for a condition here, but I think those are details at this point. The main thing is done. Now there was another bug, and I'm curious if it's related to this somehow. Don't know if I have a puzzle for it again. Oh yeah, by the way, Naim, you said sorry. You said I have 99. I have 99 with the new creator, as you can see. I have a few that are named. Some of them are old, and then I have a bunch here with the old puzzle creator. 2021. It's kind of, let's see, what was I testing? What was I testing on November 17, 2021 in the early afternoon? Raiko and episode 0. I don't fucking know what's going on here. Like attack, triggers, destroy. Oh, I see, that's kind of interesting. Raiko is destroyed by his episode 0's effect, not by battle. I don't know, I'm not sure why I was testing this, but there you go. What about the night before? Ceasefire. Oh, this was like, which one do you keep, which one goes first, stuff like that, which I might not even work correctly now. Still did damage first, and then it kept the first one that was in the puzzle, probably. It's the first one that was added in the puzzle. So the core considers it the first one that hit the field, technically, I suppose. This might be the idea. I'm surprised none of these are... Oh, this... I remember this bug. I don't want that. It's annoying. I'm surprised that all of these are still working. They're not crashing. They don't have new cards and stuff. What am I doing here? What the fuck? Call the Haunted. I'm not sure what the fuck I'm doing here. Like, what? Music battle. Maybe I was testing authors, but why was I testing authors? I don't know. Is he that old? Whatever, doesn't matter. Check the graveyard. It's just authors and Kepler, I don't know. Let's go even further back. That's probably the oldest one. Well, some of the named ones might be older, but... Oh, this one, this interaction. He cannot be banished. Cannot be destroyed by card effects. But then this tries to return to the hand. And this says if they would leave by... if they would be taken from the hand by Penguin, banish it instead. I think it's... I forget if this is correct though. I thought about a custom-made archetype attacking in other phases than battle phase. Is it possible to call such an archetype? For example, when your opponent summons a monster, attack it. Not really. You could maybe simulate it, but it wouldn't be an actual attack. Like, it wouldn't be... I don't think you can code it to make it so that mirror force can be activated in response. But you could maybe simulate it, and you could do you could destroy it like how Dark Hole would destroy it, and then put Reason Battle if you want that to work right away. There's something similar with the ISG sync that cannot be banished. Yeah, Igerin or whatever her name is. Closest thing would be to have to go right to Damascalc, aka LA last turn. Here's the thing with last turn though, how it actually kind of supposed to be working is that it creates a new special battle phase, and then the monsters battle inside the battle phase, inside this special battle phase. So while you could do it, it's kind of different. Plus, I would not reference last turn for how any game mechanics should work, because it's a mess. But I mean, if I were you, I would maybe simulate quote-unquote the battle, so like compare the stats and figure out if the stats are different, do damage accordingly, and then destroy the monster with Reason Battle maybe, just to something like that. But I don't know, of course not, but that's the closest. I mean, yes, it's the closest, I suppose. Yes, I'm a radical give up unless I mean, I would not design personally. If I were to design custom cards, I would not do this. The concept you described. I'm kind of with Naim on that, like I'm with Naim on that front, in the sense that I would not do that, and it's just avoiding it. But if you want to do it, it's my idea, I guess. I would not help you with it because I don't want to deal with it. But there you go. Right, so Naim, could you check if this is correct? I think there's an actual ruling for Metaphysics Executor with the penguins, or no, maybe no penguin has the ruling. I forget. But anyway, I want to check the other card. It was an Ice Jade trap. No, I don't remember which one though, but we'll find it pretty easily. Maybe this one. It was like if something leaves the field, yeah. Is that water controls of opponent's card except by its side? After you spell summon a from your deck. Okay, so the problem with this was that if it was already face up, it would work in some scenarios, but then if it was face down in the same scenarios, it would not work always. Something like that. I remember it with Kaijus. So if we set this, if in the given situation the effect of Penguin Soldier can be activated by targeting Metaphysics Executor. When it resolves, the effect of not Penguin is applied, and Executor will be banished instead of returned to the hand. Okay, so it's correct right now. Nothing to worry about or fix there. Okay, so we need Water Monster to leave the field and Ice Jade to space them. So just Ice Jades, I guess. What's the one I like? And this one's really pretty. The first one, this one, I like this one, the art one, the art for this one. I mean, all of the artworks are really beautiful, but okay, here. And then I think the issue was with kaiju-like stuff, so like outside, no chain links and stuff. So just use Dogoran. I'm just gonna have to edit the puzzle to make it not end immediately. Um, 100 is up here. Okay. So don't end. Okay, it doesn't know to. to change this to test mode, so I have full control over the AI opponent. And then we could do this. Okay, and here it should prompt me to activate this, but it doesn't. That's the problem. So is the continuous trap. So the way it works. Okay, so sales pitch, we don't need this. Sales pitch part, we don't need this. Skip this up. So it has the base effect to activate the card and do nothing, and then it's handled in the core that if you can also use one of the other effects at the same time, it's gonna ask you, typically. Like for example, if we do it's except by being destroyed. If we do like banish, then dark core. Okay, so dark core here, and then it should ask me. There we go. If I say yes, I can activate the effect and do the last part. Okay, but if we do the same thing with Doggerun, it doesn't work. There we go, that's a bug. And even if I like hold chain on, it doesn't work. I mean, it's gonna ask me in response to the special summon, but then I cannot use the effect. I'm just flipping the card normally, but it doesn't recognize that I can use the effect now. So I was wondering how similar this is to the sales pitch problem. But I think the problem in this case is that the erosion is that it doesn't get executed at all. Like it's as if it misses the timing. I think was the conclusion I reached last time. Like it doesn't print anything. Whereas if you do dark core, it prints the condition. So it's executed, and it says, okay, it's true. Boom, go ahead and activate this if you want. So if it's already face down, it doesn't do it for some reason. I don't know, it's probably like a core side problem, but I'm just trying to figure out if there's a workaround solution script side. So let's try the sales pitch approach, I guess, the same way. So let's just hard code it. Just for the sake of testing. Okay, so if it's specifically erosion and it's the live field effect, do the same things that we were doing with for sales pitch and stuff. Okay, so I printed this. Let's see if dark core still works. Okay, this was executed but it didn't ask me. Okay. Any recommended resources for custom card scripting? I'm only familiar with JavaScript. So yeah, first of all, like Naomi said, in the scripting channel, card scripting 101 channel on Discord server, various resources pinned there. You can also ask questions there. As far as a like whatchamacallit, dang it, I forget the word, but like a page with resources and documentation. There we go, documentation. There's the Scrappy book. You'll find that linked in the Discord as well. We're still updating it all the time, but yeah. And Hatter, another member of the team, is working currently on a written guide on how to like script your first card kind of video. I don't know how close that is to being finished, but last I remember there was good progress there. That's your best bet essentially. Now you mentioned JavaScript. I don't know JavaScript, but we script using Lua, but it's not really, you don't really need to know Lua in that sense. It's like its own thing. You just learn like EDOPro scripts in a way. It's less so much you don't need like Lua knowledge so much. It's more important to have knowledge of Yu-Gi-Oh game mechanics and stuff. Having any background in programming already? Yep, yeah, exactly. Because a lot of people don't have any background in programming, want to try it scripting customs, and it's a little difficult at first because you need to learn both how the engine works and also, okay, what does if mean, what does this do, right? But if you have any programming knowledge, you can immediately look at this and kind of get pretty much what it does. So then you only need to learn the specifics of the engine. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible if you don't have any background in programming. Of course it's possible, but it's gonna be a little harder because you also need to learn basics of programming, like if statements, functions, returns, parameters, stuff like that. Boolean, true, false, whatever, right? Just as a general knowledge that is gonna be useful. And if you have programming knowledge, it's just something that you don't even think about it, that you know how it works. Okay, so what's happening here? It's executing the function, which means this is executed, but then it doesn't work. What is the actual condition? Horizontal is the opponent, and there's something. Face up, destroy. It was a water. Okay, let's debug B0 and B1 here. In terms of in terms of how to go about scripting new cards, apart from asking, the best way is to just look for a card that does something similar to what you want, or the exact same. It might even exist as the exact same effect, and look at that card's script, study it, see what it does, how it works, and then copy the logic or all of it or part of it or whatever to your own custom script. That's the basic gist. Like, it's because there's so many cards, like more than 10,000 cards now, without even counting unofficial anime stuff. It's very likely that the effect you want already exists, at least in part. At which point you just need to get good at understanding at reading scripts and understanding what you're seeing, and so that you know what to copy, right? Okay, so what happens here? True, false, false, false. It goes off again. And that may be the problem. Maybe because it's a trigger effect here, it's not a card activation. It's checked again at the end because it's a delay triggered. Possibly. I can't find a Discord link. Could you yeah, hold on. I think actually it's still the same, right? EDOPro Percy. But let me copy it. Invite. There you go. Okay, so I'm thinking that if I remove the delay flag, it's gonna work. Let's try it. Obviously, it's gonna have other problems because it needs a delay flag. Nope. True, false, false. It still went twice for some reason. Why did it go twice? I don't get that. How do you initiate script cards which get officially ruled on how it's supposed to work after a while, like transaction rollback? Well, we make educated guesses. Most of the time there's already a card or a scenario that's similar enough to where you can tell how it's gonna work or how it's probably going to work. So okay, of course you don't know exactly, you don't know for sure, but just based on already existing cards and how other mechanics work, and just having good knowledge of how Yu-Gi-Oh mechanics work in general, you can make a pretty good educated guess on, okay, this is probably gonna work this way, it's probably gonna work that way. But of course, we always hold the I don't know how to call it, the case that pre-release cards might not work how they're supposed to, or how they are going to be ruled to work. We don't know that before they actually come out officially with rules, so use them knowing that, essentially. And though we try to make them so that they're not, I think our general policy is that try to make it not as strong as it could be, if only if there's a ambiguity. So like if it's like, okay, it could work way A, or it could work like way B, we don't know for sure, but if it works like way A, then it's a lot stronger. We tend to make it way B in that particular case, to avoid potential issues of, hey, I used it on EDOPro 2 months ago and it was working in this scenario, but now it's not working. You know, it's better to just keep it weaker and buff it later with rulings, if the rulings support it, rather than have it strong at first and then nerf it. I think it creates less confusion. Obviously, you're not gonna, it's not gonna be perfect, because there's gonna be discrepancy anyway, but well, whatever you're gonna do. But yeah, but that's only for the specific cases where it there's ambiguity, right? Those are not very common, to be honest. So okay, so why does this happen twice? It says false the second time too. Two cards left the field, dark core, and the card is banished. That's a good point, name. So the second one would be for dark core. That makes sense. But then initially it says true for the Ice Jade, so why doesn't that kick it off as a, you know, it can be used? Yeah, different timings too. Yeah, that's correct. You're right about that, yeah. So that's why it happens twice. Figured that out. What's the name? But then it says both times here. Oh, I see. Fuck. Okay, yes. It's because it happened twice. Because it happened the first time for Ice Jade. The table is set to true. And then it happens right after for Dark Core. In the same position, and the table is set to false. So then when it goes to check the table in the new condition, it's already become false because of Dark Core. Damn. Okay. That's also going to be a problem with sales pitch then if there's multiple chains. So that's also a problem. So we need to, okay, we need to like, the thing we're checking here needs to be for that specific event that was raised, kind of. So maybe 2D table. First index for the player, second index for if there's multiple events. Perhaps. But then we need to keep track of the indexes, that's a pain. And then we also need to reset them properly, the tables. I mean, it sounds doable, but like, complicated. Use our beloved Mysterion approach to store everything in a group first. How's that gonna work though, man? Because think about this, we're in the register effect function, right? This is like a generic solution. We don't actually know at any given time what this is supposed to check. Okay. You dare joke in this stream where jokes are allowed? How dare you? is there some internal number associated with an event that we could use that's like unique? So like, this is event live field, right? So event live field happens, and it's like the first time it happens, and the number 1 is associated with it, and the second time it happens, number 2 is associated with it. Too much noise. A unique a number that's associated with each specific event, and it's like unique. So the issue here is we have to leave field effects, events happening, right? I'm thinking if there's a way to differentiate the two easily without, because okay, we could do 2D table here and then have some kind of indexing and, you know, +1 every time a new event is detected, and do all that stuff manually, which sounds doable but a pain in the ass. So instead of that, I want to be like, okay, well, I could, if there's a unique number, I could do unique number as the second index in the table and set that specific part true, and then here we will check this unique number again as the second index to see if a specific event was true, you know. So then there's no overlaps if it's unique, stuff like that. Where is Edo when you need him? He should be here, answering my questions. So for example, let's see, the whole index thing I was talking about. Then we need to store the index for the, oh man. Ah, okay, we could pass it as a value or something here. That makes sense. Where did I mess up? Oh, plus doesn't work, I guess. Okay. Does this work in Lua? I forget. No. Too much C. I've been doing too much C lately. Okay. +1, whatever. To index. Oh wait. If I go to here, yeah. Hold on though. Event ID is an increasing number that is updated every time an adjust operation is executed. It sounds unique, but we don't have access to it. Okay. Can I make a whole table also at the same time? Is that proper syntax? Well, maybe we got something. Okay, let's try Belgorod. No prompt hurts. What if I hold? Okay, something not quite right again for some reason. Okay, let's go back. Okay, now we got dark core again working with this new handling. Let's see. Let's go back to debugging for Dogram. This didn't print at all. It was the same problem. Okay, so that's this. But then this does not get executed at all. Like this, the new function. But by condition here, does it print? Afterwards, that's the response to the summon. Delay flag here maybe. No difference. I don't know. I'm not sure if we can fix this the same way. Might need a this might need a deep dive in the core, because I mean this happens, the event is raised, but then the functions like this, the effect itself does not get executed at all. If I flip it face up first, should work, right? Yeah, that works. Well, I don't have any other ideas at the moment. Though we did figure out this, and this is gonna be it would have been a problem with sales pitch and stuff like before as well. If there was like a chainlink one, I search, chainlink to the opponent searches, something like that. Okay, so I just wanted to showcase how the without the index stuff, the bug would exist here as well. So let's see. Just gonna comment out the relevant lines. I'm gonna restore them afterwards, of course. So here so if we just do this, right? Search, boom. Okay, I messed something up. Oh, right, this also the value here, we need to separate it for player 1, player 0. That's also pain. That's weird. That's unusual. OBS crashed. Like just OBS. So it just took just a moment to restart it. Right, so if we remove this, right, we need to, oops. So here I can use it and do this normally. But if I activate this, hold on, how's it gonna work? Needs to be chainlink 1 my search, chainlink to the opponents. So actually runic tape is not gonna work. Instead of key maze we will need like Sangan. Okay, I need a key mace in my deck. And then it's Sangan. In the monster zone. Oh wait, I'm fucking dumb. Needs to be chaining 1, 2. Wait, no. No, wait, this. No, wait, it's actually good. Never mind, never mind. It should be fine. So this searches, sends, and then this searches, and then I should be able to use dispelling, but I think I'm not gonna be. Okay. But if we change back to the index version, the table version, oops. It works. Now, the logic here with the index is a bit crude. Sure, we could maybe improve it and stuff. But the main idea is that if not that, then it would have to be some kind of unique number associated with the event, like I said earlier. So that we just use the unique number as the second index instead of having to do stuff manually and keeping track of stuff, which is a little annoying. And then there's the question, okay, do we reset it ever? Because it's just gonna keep going plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. Anyway, whatever. That's besides the point. I think I'm done now. It's a little late. I've been going for a while anyway, so I'll end the stream now. Didn't finish any, like didn't finalize any updates or fixes, but a lot of this is good progress because most of it's already done and working. Is just the details, like what other events to check here, this. I'm not sure how to separate it, but we'll figure it out. Or maybe we could just pass, maybe not separate because it's gonna be one event being raised, but then we pass both or something, or somehow pass the information for both, and then the condition knows how to check it properly. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway, yeah, a lot of progress. Because essentially the bug is fixed, we just need to figure out the details. And this is not just the thing with this bug is that it's not just with sales pitch or just with runic dispelling, it's with any spell trap card activation that has this unique kind of event thing to it. I think it's how to classify it, how to differentiate it. So there's a lot of cards that are affected, it's just not very common. And the scenario itself it's not common to happen because it's like a scenario where the card needs to leave and the condition is initially true but then it's false afterwards, so it's complicated. But yeah, anyway, I rambled on too much. I'm gonna go now. One last time, in case somebody didn't see it from the start of the stream, today's meme picture, so to speak, I guess. I don't know if maybe people don't even understand the joke, but whatever, I don't know. I thought it was funny, so there you go. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah. Take care. Bye bye.